Hello and welcome to the Sports Show. It's currently unnamed. We actually have a challenge for you guys at home to try to come up with a name for the show. And if you come up with a name for the show and we choose it, you get a free one-year membership. And we're also going to name the storage closet after you, which is now currently the Sean P. Donahue Storage Closet because he did so much to help build out this place. But if you want the storage closet named after you and a free year membership, try to come up with a name for the show. If not, Mukala's going to have to try to think of one.
You don't want me to come up with a name?
Yeah, it'll be good. We didn't introduce ourselves. I'm Brian Dorrington, and this is Marvelous Mukala Kabungo.
Hello, world. How's everybody doing on this Friday? It's about to be a great day.
Well, hopefully. It's not going to be a great day if Tom Brady's hand isn't good. And we weren't going to start with this story. We were going to go against the grain and start with the Vikings-Eagles match, but we got to talk about Brady's hand. So, Mukala, should I worry about this or should I not?
All he needs is some ice, some ibuprofen. Have Giselle massage his hand the next couple of days. He'll be all right.
No, I think it's Guerrero who gives him the massages.
Oh, yeah.
At least according to the TB12 book,
I'm sure he has
them.
I'm sure Guerrero's at his house right now, just waiting.
So you're telling me I shouldn't worry about this?
I mean, it's his hand. It's not, from the reports, it's not that severe. So, no, you shouldn't worry about his hands.
Because I got to be honest, I'm a little bit worried.
Why?
The main reason I'm worried is because we don't have a good backup option. We have Brian Hoyer, who didn't win a game this year with the 49ers. He knows the system, but do you really think we could win a game if Brady can't go? I mean, I think that he's going to give it a go. I do think he's going to give it a go. But if it gets hit again in the game, if it's something that gets re-injured, I mean, we don't have Jimmy G. We just traded away a potential franchise quarterback.
You got that?
And it just worries me now that we have Brian Hoyer.
All right, so let me break it down to you. So did you watch last week's divisional round?
Of course.
So who is the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, okay, good point. Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles. He just beat one of the top teams in the NFL. 14 of 26 passing. He didn't have to do much. He ran the ball. The team ran the ball well. He made some good conversions. So it's possible that a mediocre quarterback could win a game.
Well, that's true. And I don't like all the Blake Bortles hate either because Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl.
Rex Grossman played in a Super Bowl. So you don't need a franchise quarterback.
Tim Tebow won a playoff game.
Yeah, Tim Tebow won a playoff game. Mark Sanchez and the Jets came into Foxborough and beat us in 2011.
Mark Sanchez went to 2 AFC Championship games.
That's exactly right.
And that says a lot about Mark Sanchez from what his career has gone.
Yes.
The way his career has went. So.
And I'd rather have Blake Bortles than Mark Sanchez.
Same here.
So I don't like all this Bortles hate, but at the same time, okay, let's envision this as we have Tom Brady. Everything's fine. We'll take it. How do you think this game plays out?
This game, so what's one thing the Jacksonville Jaguars do best? That's pass defense. They're the number one They're the number one pass defense. So what do the Patriots do? They find out your strength, but they go against your weakness. Now the Jaguars, their run defense is not all that great. There's yards to gain in the rush. Now will the Patriots be patient enough to run the ball on this team? Because if you pass it, their defensive backs, all 4 of them are in the top 15 in turnovers.
They got a great secondary.
Yes, and Jalen Ramsey, the best one out of all of them. I'm pretty sure they're going to put him on Gronk. He has
Gronk, really?
He has the length to cover Gronk. The other players, they don't have the length to cover Gronk. They might have the speed, but Gronk, he's just 6'6", so he's going to tower over anybody, and Brady could just throw it up to them. But Jalen Ramsey, I believe he'll be placed on Gronk because of his length. Now, Barry Church, AJ Oboye had a great game last year.
He's another superstar.
Last year, he was on the Texans. Didn't the Texans come here in the playoffs and A.J. Boye had a great game?
Yeah. I mean,
picked off Brady a few times.
He's a great player. He was one of the best free agent quarterbacks on the market.
Yeah, so they're either going to put him on Hogan or Amendola. So Brady's going to have...
Cooks.
Oh, I forgot about Cooks.
Everybody's been forgetting about Cooks these past few weeks.
Yeah, so it's looking like Amendola and Hogan are going to have to have a good game.
Okay.
because their two best defensive backs are going to be on their two best receivers.
See, I kind of agree, but I think when you have the best quarterback in the league, you need to get out throwing the ball, and you need to get a lead, an early lead against this Jacksonville team. Because if you get an early lead against this Jacksonville team, Blake Bortles is going to have to throw the ball. Because you know we're going to stack the box, and we're going to take away Leonard Fournette, and he's their best offensive player. And we're going to stack 8 in the box like teams have been doing against him all season. He still managed to finish like, what, 8th in rushing or something like that?
Yeah.
But there's a stat that the team stacked the box against him more than any other running back. So if Patriots get an early lead, the Jaguars are going to have no choice but to try to throw the ball. They're going to have to test it deep because they do have some fast young receivers, but they're going to have to put the game in Blake Bortles' hands. So I think the Patriots need to come out throwing, get an early lead, and then run the ball. What
they also need to do is get to the quarterback. They need to get to Bortles. Bortles, although his passing is inconsistent, but he did, against Pittsburgh, he did make some big plays on third down conversions. So the Patriots and the Steelers, they got pressure to him, but not the entirety of the game. They didn't get enough pressure on him. There were times he was just standing back there. He had all the time in the world to throw the ball. So they got to get pressure on him and turnovers. Blake Bortles, one thing I'm impressed with him that he did last week, he didn't turn the ball over.
Not this playoffs. He hasn't turned over playoffs.
He has yet to turn the ball over. So as long as, if Blake Bortles doesn't turn the ball over, they'll be in the game. If he does, then we might end up getting another.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Blake Bortles as much as everybody else. He's been, especially in New England. If you listen to the schmoes on talk radio, I can say that because I know they're not going to watch this. But it's just all Blake Bortles hate. You know what I mean? And I think that he won the division. He's gotten his team to the conference final. He can play in a Super Bowl. You got to give the guy credit.
All right, let's
What do you got for us?
Let's talk about Blake Bortles.
Okay.
Is he really that bad of a quarterback, though? These numbers says otherwise. So Blake Bortles, he was in the top 15 in passing. He finished ahead of Case Keenum, Jameis Winston, Derek Carr, Eli Manning.
And Flacco and Cam Newton, actually.
Definitely. So his completion percentage for the season, was 60%.
Yeah.
That's not bad for a quarterback.
That's
over 3,000 yards passing, 7 yards per attempt. His longest was a 75er. Quarterback rating, 84.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's not bad.
84. And the quarterback rating is like I said. I have this here down too. Better than Flacco, Eli, and Cam Newton. How many Super Bowls between those guys? Flacco's got a Super Bowl. Eli's got 2. Cam Newton played in a Super Bowl.
Definitely.
Okay, and he was better than these guys this year, statistically.
Yeah.
Would I rather have him in this game as opposed to some of those other guys? Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. But he isn't. He's not a top 10. He's a middle-of-the-road guy that can manage a game.
Listen, 21 touchdowns and 13 interceptions for him is not bad, especially for the style that they play. They're a running football team. Everybody knows that the majority of their plays are run plays. So Leonard Fournette finished 8th in the league in rushing.
That's right.
They have a solid backup in T.J. Yeldon who could come in and spell, and he could do more than Leonard Fournette in the passing game. So they have the dynamic, and what they're asking Blake Bortles to do, he's handled it pretty well.
Yeah, manage the game and not lose the game. And one thing nobody really talks about is that their top receiver, Allen Robinson, hasn't played all season. I mean, and he's their top target. I mean, he's like a legit. I mean, he was a Pro Bowler. I don't know if it was last year, a couple years ago, but whatever. Yeah. He's their best receiver. So he's got 3 speedy young guys.
And Hearns, he has yet to have a big game this postseason.
He's had some injuries.
Yeah, and they're also not looking for him that much. So there could be some chances where they go deep to look for him because they did have opportunities to look for him, but Bortles decided to look other ways. And the young receiver, I think Cole. Yeah, he made probably one of the biggest plays in the game.
He did.
After Pittsburgh got the momentum, he came back. They were going deep. They kept attempting those deep balls, but they finally hit one.
That's what they're going to have to do because they're going to get single coverage a lot. Yeah. Because, like I said, they're going to try to stop Fournette. Keep going. They're telling us we have 5 minutes. So originally this was going to be a half-an-hour show, but I think this is going so well, and Mukala and I have just gotten started. This might go for a full hour. Sorry, Pedro and Dave in the back. We're going to make them not be able to go on their lunch break a little bit longer. But hey, we're having fun, and let's get. I want to throw out some of these stats. So everybody says how good the Jacksonville defense is.
All right.
So this is what I looked up. So they've given up 32 points per game over their last 4 road matches.
Not good.
Not good. And I like to look at what a team's done lately.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many points per game the Patriots have given up over their last 4 home games?
How many?
13.
13. Who are their opponents?
Well, okay, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, Jacksonville doesn't have the best offense. But I'm just saying, you look at those stats, and everybody's talking about the Jacksonville defense. They are good, for sure, but they give up a lot of points, or have been giving up a lot of points.
From what we saw last Sunday,
weeks.
that shootout.
Yes. So they're perfectly capable, the Patriots, of putting up points and holding Jacksonville to under 14 points. Let's get to
Let's
a prediction.
talk about that real quick.
Okay, all right. What do you got?
All right, so we're talking about the Patriots offense and
okay, let's go.
I mean the Patriots defense and who they've been playing.
Let's go there.
So, Miami, 20 points.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, 24 points. That's impressive because.
But Antonio Brown wasn't there.
Still, they stopped them when they counted.
That's true.
Buffalo, 16. The Jets, 6. Now, out of all those teams I named, which one of them actually has a scary offense that makes you say, whoa?
Point taken. Although, you know what? If they've got some great wide receivers in Miami, but fortunately they had Jay Cutler.
They had, Jay Cutler, the guy who looks like he'd rather be on the beach instead of playing football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's got his hands on his hips during plays sometimes. You're right. I'll give you that. But Jacksonville doesn't have a scary offense either.
No, they do not. So now let's look at the Jaguars. Their last 4 opponents, they played Seattle. Seattle scored 24 points. Houston, 7 points. San Francisco, Jimmy G game. They got torched.
They got torched by Jimmy G.
Jimmy G. And Tennessee, 15. So both teams to end the season, they didn't play those explosive offensive teams, but win's a win. As long as you guys play well to win, that's all you can ask for. And it's not your fault teams don't have explosive offense or they're just not great. So, I mean, these teams, you could see the improvements they've made, but definitely with the Jaguars, there are points to be scored on him. There are matchups to exploit as well. But this team in the regular season, they were the number 1 NFL team in passing defense. Quarterbacks were completing 56.6% of their passes on this defense. 21 interceptions, 55 sacks. That's a tough team that's going to be a tough team to just, you're not going to walk over them like you walked over the Titans.
Yeah. And they start off, I think, as an 8.5-point underdog. They went to like 9.5, but now with this Brady information, they're like to a 7.5-point underdog. So it's getting closer. So let's get to the predictions. What's the score? We can give a with Brady and a with Hoyer score.
The score with Brady, it's going to be 27-13.
Who?
Patriots.
27-13? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go. I think the Pats are going to be able to put up 34 points. This is with Brady. It's going to be 34-17. And now with Hoyer, what do you think? 34? I think the Patriots will put up 34 points.
With Hoyer, 17-10.
17-10? Pats? Okay, so you still think the Pats can pull it out? I think it's going to be a closer game. I think it's going to be 21-20. I think the Pats are going to score less points. And I also think the Jaguars are going to be able to score more points because maybe they'll get 1 or 2 more turnovers, turn it into a field goal, something like that.
You also have to look at the matchups. Also, there's going to be some key players that are going to have to make big plays. Last week, Vance McDonald, he had a big game against the Jaguars. So if let's say if they hold Gronk, who do you think on the Patriots would have that breakout game? Do you think Dwayne Allen will have a breakout game?
I don't see that. I mean, it might be great for Philip Dorsett to actually do something. I mean, you traded a quarterback for him. He's done nothing. Cooks has so far been an average receiver. Considering he's like technically our first-round draft pick this year. You know, he might be the guy to step up. Yeah,
he may have a big game because this Jaguars defense against the Steelers, they did get blown by some big plays.
Yeah.
What's his name? Martavius Bryant. He had a big play over the middle. Yeah. The one thing I was surprised, Juju
Smith-Schuster.
He didn't have quite the game.
I love his name though.
Yeah,
best name except so DeBrickashaw Ferguson was my favorite name. Now Juju Smith-Schuster is my new favorite name in the NFL.
I like Booger McFarland.
But that's a good one too. Clinton Ha-Ha Dix, another good one. A lot of good names in the NFL.
Yeah, a lot of good names. So this is going to be a wild weekend. This wild card, this championship weekend. But I think the Patriots, they're going to hedge it up because I think they're just more experienced. That's the first thing. They're more experienced. I think Calais Campbell is the only player on the Jaguars that actually has been in this type of game.
He's a dangerous player, too.
He played in that Super Bowl, that Santonio Holmes catch.
I have it here. Did he finish first? He finished top something in sacks. Calais. He's second in sacks, and he was just voted, I think just a few days ago, the Defensive Player of the Year by the Pro Football Writers of America. Okay. He's dangerous. He is a game changer. We have to make sure that we stop him.
Okay. Another thing, did you know the Jaguars in their red zones, they were 5 for 5?
I did not know that.
In the red zone against the Steelers.
I did not know that.
5 for 5. That's one way. If you're going to win a game, you got to convert in the red zone, and they were able to, especially that 4th and 1 when they ran the ball. That kind of set the tone for the game. So the Patriots have the Patriots show when you get down there, you're not going to score. You're going to kick field goals. But the Jaguars, they were scoring touchdowns last week. I don't know if they could carry that momentum over, but how are they going to get down the field on this defense? Are they going to go over more? Keep Brady on the sidelines. We're gonna hand the ball off to our beast back there. But he's kind of injured too. So this is gonna be an interesting game plan they're gonna have.
There's a lot of different ways that this can go, and I'm not writing off the Jaguars as much as everybody else. We have people, the sports analysis, they haven't been given any credit. They've been totally disrespectful to him. I don't think they're going to win, but I think that they're a good team, and they've got a lot to build on for the future.
Yeah, they're solid. They're very solid. But this defense, there are some holes on them. If the Patriots do want to go at them, they probably should establish the run game on this defense. They finished the league 21st, allowing 4 yards per carry, 4.3 yards per carry, I should say, 116 yards per game. So you can. You can't move the ball on them through the ground, but the thing is, will the Patriots be patient enough to move the ball on them on the ground? Yeah. So,
I mean, I truly think that they're a quarterback away. We'll move on from this game. One last thing. Do you think either Kirk Cousins or Alex Smith will end up in Jacksonville next year? Because I think one of them will be there.
Kirk Cousins will end up in Denver.
Kirk Cousins will be in Denver?
Here first.
Okay, then Alex Smith will be in Jacksonville. One of those guys is going to go to Jacksonville. They're a quarterback away from winning it. All right, let's go on to the next game, which I think is a better matchup. These are two crazy, tough defenses with actually a third-string quarterback and a second-string quarterback.
You know what both of these quarterbacks have in common?
Probably a lot, but what are you thinking?
They were coached under Jeff Fisher.
Okay. Who's had a lot of success in the NFL.
So I'm pretty sure they were happy to get away from Jeff Fisher because they've exploded this season. Both of them. Yeah. So Jeff Fisher kind of held them back from
he held back the entire organization. The Rams exploded this season as soon as they got rid of him.
Yeah. So I mean that's one thing they got in common. But this is an interesting matchup with these organizations because if either of them go to the Super Bowl, they're either going to win their first or they're just going to continue on their record of losing Super Bowls. Because the Vikings, every time they've gone to the Super Bowl, they've lost.
What Eagles, 0-4?
They're 0-4. 0-4 in the Super Bowl all time.
Yes.
The Eagles are 6-1. I mean,
No.
0-2.
0-2.
If they won 6 Super Bowls, we'd have a parade for them. But they're 0-2.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting matchup where I don't know if it's ever happened in NFL history that 2 backup quarterbacks have a chance to.
Well, if you go back, Case Keenum's actually the 3rd string. Teddy Bridgewater was going to be the guy. He got injured. Brought in Bradford. Bradford got injured, and now we're at Keenum. So Keenum's like the 3rd guy, pretty much. So, but he has played great. There were people saying, that he will finish top 5 in the MVP decision.
I don't know
about that either, but I've heard people say it, so I'm going to repeat it on air. It's not that I believe it, folks, but he's been playing solid, and he can prove that he can. So one thing that I was worried about him last week, I thought the Saints were going to win. I didn't think that he would have the composure. He's a younger guy.
Yeah.
He hasn't been on the stage before. Like you said, he's a backup. But that last drive of the game, to put together that last minute, last second winning drive, just shows me that he graduated to the next level, at least maybe not skill-wise, but at least mentally going into these games, that he can handle these big games.
Did he graduate or did he get a prayer?
Well, but the fact that he showed composure and he didn't throw a turn. How many times do you see a guy come in and they'll just completely try to force it and waff on it? It was a lucky play, granted.
He had his moments where it looked like he was trying to let the Saints come back and to get back in it, which they did. They got back in the game, but there were some throws. That one interception he threw, it was just like, what are you doing? Just take the sack.
No, I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. I just think that he's. I think I would take him over Bortles and Foles. I think he's the second best quarterback.
I would not take him over Foles.
You would not take him over Foles? Okay, let's go.
I would not. Nick Foles has shown that if he was a starting quarterback, put in the right system, what did he throw? 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions that one year in Philadelphia when he was a starter.
Was with Chip Kelly?
Yeah, with Chip Kelly.
I don't know. I forget that year. Chip Kelly ruined that team. When you trade away LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso,
yeah, Chip Kelly ruined that team. But Nick Foles had probably one of the greatest seasons a Philly quarterback has had since Donovan McNabb has left. So,
okay, all right.
I mean, he's shown that he can lead a team to the playoffs if he's a starting quarterback. Nick Foles also showed that he could win in different ways. What did the Eagles have? The Eagles ran the ball a good amount of times. They have LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi. So those 2 guys, they kind of help him out. He could turn the ball over, especially in this time of the year. They're playing in Philly, it's cold. So they're not going to ask him to throw the ball a certain amount of times, 40 times or whatever.
But can you really trust a guy, even if he is a good quarterback? I mean, what week did he come in? How many regular? I think he only played what?
The last 3.
He only played 3 regular season games. I mean, that's a long time sitting on the bench. Guaranteed, he's a veteran guy. He knows the system. But still, just not getting those game reps where Case Keenum has been there like the entire season, pretty much. He just has more of that experience, and it comes. Foles might have more experience as a starter overall. All right, folks, we're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll get right back to this discussion. All right, folks, we are back. That was sorry about that break. Mukala just had to go run out, and he had to do a little shopping. He didn't have any Patriots gear. He had to pick up some new stuff. It was nice and quick.
Yeah, I had to get my Boston hat.
He had to get his Boston hat. Although it's been sitting there the whole time.
My head looks kind of big in here. So.
That's all right. It's a fly hat. I told you to wear some gear. I actually got this Patriots shirt, and this is in Hebrew. I got it at a thrift shop for $13. Well, I think it's like super rare and probably worth some money.
That might be a good luck charm, though.
Yeah, you know, every time I've worn it, the Patriots have won.
All right.
Granted, I only wore it one time, but so far, that's a pretty good record.
Speaking of the Patriots, going into their 7th straight AFC Championship game, I got a breakdown of everything they've gone through. So their record in this is 3-3, 3-3 record.
3-3 in what?
The championship games.
Okay.
In this stretch that they've gone this is 7 straight years.
Okay.
So, in this span, they've played the Broncos twice, 0-2. Both games were at Mile High Stadium.
Yeah, Denver. Yeah.
Yeah. They've played the Ravens twice, 1-1. Both games at Gillette. They played the Colts once and the Steelers once. Both of those games at Gillette Stadium. So. The home field advantage
is in our favor.
It's definitely in their favor because from the looks of this, traveling on the road for these games, it's
I know we said we were going to move on from the Patriots, but this just popped in my head. Another stat that I heard is that the Patriots, I think, are 17-0 against AFC South opponents since the Brady era or something like that.
Something like that.
It's ridiculous. We just own the AFC South.
I believe Brady's 7-0 against the Jaguars.
Yeah, I think that's it too. So okay, so this
speaks to the level of competition.
It really does.
AFC, and also if you date back since 2000, you know the quarterbacks that have gone to the Super Bowl from the AFC. Brady, Manning. Roethlisberger,
yeah,
Flacco, yeah, Rich Gannon at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Dilfer.
We get to, so you have all the Mannings though.
Oh, this is just AFC.
Oh, this is just about AFC.
Since 2000.
Okay, since 2000.
AFC. Now Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger has gone 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Brady 7.
Mm-hmm.
Manning, he's gone. I forget the count. He's gone twice. He's gone 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Flacco once. What was his name?
Rich Gannon?
Rich Gannon once.
He won the MVP that year, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the year they won the MVP.
It was like the worst year of quarterbacking, I think, in NFL history, where Rich Gannon wins an MVP.
Yeah, throwing 5-yard passes to old age Jerry Rice and Tim Brown. That was a very interesting team. But the parity in the AFC is, or lack thereof.
There isn't any. And that's the salary cap is designed for there to be parity. But it's not working in the AFC.
Yeah, it just shows you some of these GMs, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
If it's the same quarterbacks getting to the Super Bowl, especially within the last 10 years. You know,
and it shows you, I think, that having a franchise quarterback, you're more likely to get there. Mm-hmm. And quarterback, everybody says that playoffs comes down to defense. Bull. Playoffs come down to quarterback play.
Yeah.
Just look at that. It's
which quarterback could make the least mistakes and the biggest plays.
Yes.
That's definitely what playoff comes to.
That's what
and
it
also,
is.
Earlier I talked about a stat with the Jacksonville Jaguars, how last week in Pittsburgh they were 5 for 5 in the red zone. Well, the Patriots also were 5 for 5 in the red zone.
Interesting.
So both teams had a tendency of scoring in the red zone, so I wonder if they could carry that momentum over. And also, if you want to look at some other stats, the Patriots' third down efficiency, 11 for 17. So they're converting on third downs. So third downs is always a big down.
You're getting really in the weeds here. You can tell this guy has a master in journalism from Emerson College. Best college in the nation, by the way.
Number one in journalism.
Here too.
Number one in journalism.
Yes, he's good coming up with these numbers. But what were we talking about? Where did we leave off? We were talking about Keenum, Foles?
Yeah, one more before we get back.
He's got one more, okay.
Before we get back. So the Jaguars, they were 8 for 14 on third downs.
Jaguars 8 for 14 on third downs.
And some of those third down conversions came in crucial times in the game. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest one was the 40-yarder to T.J. Yeldon, who you got to watch out for.
He is a change of pace player.
Definitely.
He's great coming out of the backfield, catching the balls.
Matching him up with linebackers.
Yes, absolutely. So, he kind of has the James White role.
But we can get back to the Patriots later.
We can get back to that later. All right, so what were we talking about?
We're talking about the great quarterback plays of Nick Foles and Case Keenum.
Yeah, okay. Try to sell me again on Nick Foles. I forgot everything you said because it kind of went one out the other. I don't buy it.
Well, I mean, if I tell you these numbers, you might not be sold on it. But Nick Foles against the Falcons, he did have a good game. 23 of 30, 246 yards, no touchdowns. Mm-hmm. But he had a QBR of 47.4, passer rating of 101.1. So,
okay.
I mean, that's not too shabby. Mm-hmm. But this will be his third career playoff game, Nick Foles. So, I mean, you got to do something.
So he has a playoff experience.
He has some playoff experience, so he's got to do some things. I mean, his last playoff before this one was 2014 against the Saints. Mm-hmm. So that game he went, what did he go, 46 of 63, 441 yards, 2 touchdowns, zero interceptions, passer rating of 102.7. So, I mean, he's shown that he can complete the passes, and by judging from his passer rating, he shows that he's competent enough to...
Competent. Yeah. That's a good word. We got 2 competent quarterbacks in these games.
Yeah.
I don't think you have 2 quarterbacks that are going to take over a game and win it for you.
No.
I think it's going to come down to which quarterback doesn't lose it for you.
Definitely.
That's what it's going to come down to.
Definitely. And these two, the Vikings and the Eagles, they have solid defenses.
Oh, so, best to the top of the league, yeah.
They're both are in the top 5. So it's going. This is might be a defensive game because it'll probably most likely be cold. Mm-hmm. So the running games are going to be a big factor. Which running game do you have more trust in?
Which running game do I have more trust in? That's close. I think that Ajayi is probably the best. It's Ajayi, however you pronounce it. I think he's the best back in the game. Mm-hmm. Blunt, of course, we know his role. He's played for us for years. He's great around the goal line. And then they have
what's Blunt? He has the 7th most postseason rushing touchdowns in NFL history.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. He's a tough back, and he's old. People say you can't play running back past 30, but he's kind of proven them wrong. And then they got the guy Clement. I don't know too much about him, to be honest, but I know that he's their kind of change of pace guy on 3rd down. And then, the Vikings lost Cook, they're easily their best running back, earlier in the season, and now they've got Murray and McKinnon. I don't know. I don't think that either running back team has the advantage. I do know that the Eagles, I think, are the number 1 rushing defense.
Okay.
So I believe that matchups there. That kind of favors the Eagles in terms of rushing, the ball. But it's a wash to me. There's really no standout guy. Although Jay Ajayi, has the potential to be a superstar at some point. He's not there with the Eagles.
I think I believe the Eagles had they had a balanced attack last week. So they ran they ran the ball for about 32 times. I mean No big runs, but they kind of had their game plan was to balance it out. 30 passes, 32 runs, and Jay Ajayi had the most. He had the most, 15 carries.
And if I remember correctly, he fumbled, and then they sat him for a while in that game. That's what happened. He fumbled, and then he went for I think almost like an entire quarter, even longer, without even touching the ball after that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's good for a coach when he's your top guy. He makes a fumble. You don't have to send a message at this point in the season. You want to give the ball to your best guy.
Yeah,
and he's their best running back for sure. He's the best running back in this game.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
The Vikings, their running attack is, it wasn't that effective against the Saints, but they showed a tendency to give the ball to Latavius Murray a lot. And
they did.
He's a guy I see more of a short yardage player. Mm-hmm. That guy, he started short, second is short. Jerick McKinnon, he's kind of the change of pace guy. He's a little quicker, but this is definitely the rushing attack
Murray's big for a running back. He's like 6'3", right? 6'3", 6'4". But he's athletic too. He's got some speed.
Yeah, so it's all about who wants to be more patient.
Yeah.
Because this looks like the type of game where it's going to be the quarterbacks might not even throw the ball over 20 yards.
I don't know. I think let's talk wide receivers now, because I easily think that Minnesota by far excels in the wide receiver category. I mean, Thielen and Diggs, they're two legitimate number ones.
I mean, for the Eagles, people they had an APB out for Torrey Smith at one point.
Yeah,
so Torrey Smith in his career, he usually comes up big in the playoffs. So he did have that catch that bounced off the guy's knees. So.
Yeah, but still, you're kind of reaching there. I mean, Jeffrey's their number one guy.
Oh yeah, Alshon Jeffries he was targeted 5 times during that game. Torrey Smith was targeted 4 times. Jay Ajayi, he was targeted 5 times. Him and Alshon Jeffrey had the most targets.
Yeah, and then they got Angelor too, which is pretty good.
He can have a big game. So there's yards to be gained on this Vikings defense. It's just
Rhodes is going to shut down Jeffrey. Rhodes, I think,
that would mean either Nelson Aguilar or Torrey Smith are going to have to.
They're going to have to step up. They're going to have to step up. But the rest of the Vikings secondary is pretty solid as well.
Yeah, the safety is solid.
Yeah.
I think he at one point he got out the game because he might have been hurt or something.
Yeah, I think there's some injuries there.
Yeah, so.
But I think wide receiver definitely has to go to the Vikings.
Yeah, Thielen, the guy I just found out.
I love Thielen.
I just
undrafted, right? Undrafted.
Yeah, undrafted from Minnesota State.
Yeah.
Came up big. He came up big. He made some big catches. I think he made the big catch that got them the lead before the Saints took the lead back.
Yes.
So he showed tendency if you throw the ball to him during crunch time, he could make some big plays. But Stephon Diggs, he made the biggest play of them all, and he had quite the game too. Case Keenum, I believe that's who the guy he's going to go to a lot. That looks like that's his favorite receiver.
Diggs and Thielen. I don't think that that the Eagles have a good enough secondary to keep up with those guys. If Case Keenum doesn't get gun shy and he's bold and he's gotten that level of confidence, which I think he should have after last week's win, he should not be afraid to test this Eagles secondary.
You got to throw some touchdowns, though.
You got to throw some touchdowns.
He didn't throw a touchdown last game. 25 for 40, 318 yards, no touchdowns, though, 1 interception.
Well, he had the touchdown at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, the miracle.
I guess we're not counting. We're not really counting that.
Well, we could count that.
We could count that. Okay.
Yeah, the miracle.
It was blown coverage on the New Orleans part.
That wasn't blown coverage. That was just terrible execution. He was there. You were right there. Keep your head up.
Put his head
shoulders
down.
up. He was looking at the ground and
tackled his own player.
That was the worst part because
Crowley. He could have made a play on the ball.
He missed the tackle, but he ran over your own player.
He ran over your own player.
And he looked like he was like 2 feet behind him, but he could have had a chance.
He had a chance.
Slow him down or something, but yeah, that was like the ping pong's going. Bowling ball ping pong. So, but the Eagles secondary, they feed off the Eagles defensive line. What is his name? Fletcher Cox.
Yes.
He's been unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
So the pressure the Eagles defensive line get, that's more relief to their secondary because they'll be able to make more plays from that pressure.
Mm-hmm. I feel you on all those things. I really think this game is going to come down to who, and I said this before, to which quarterback isn't going to make the mistake that's just going to end it.
Isn't that always the case in Super Bowl? In the playoffs.
It is.
We've seen it the past couple Super Bowls. Last year, Pats were down. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan fumbles.
Yeah. Well,
that kind of changed the pace. The previous year, Cam Newton, they were threatening. He fumbled the ball, and Denver recovered, and the rest is history. Mm-hmm. And the year before that, one of the game that gave me a heart attack, Malcolm Butler.
Oh yeah.
The quarterback.
I'm sure several people actually did have heart attacks.
Yeah. So the past 3 Super Bowls, there's been one play by the quarterbacks that kind of show the outcome of the game.
That's very true. Well, one quarterback we haven't mentioned who really, I feel kind of robbed as a fan to not see Carson Wentz in this game.
Yeah.
Because, he was having an MVP season. He's the one who
might
led.
Still be MVP.
He won't still be. Brady's going to be MVP.
Need to give him MVP.
You can't. If you don't play the whole season, you shouldn't get MVP. That's why Brady didn't get it when he has out four games with the Flakegate. But I feel kind of robbed as a fan because I like to see Carson Wentz, second-year guy, taking over the league. Yeah, he got the team to this point. I mean, they wouldn't be here if Nick Foles was the quarterback.
Yeah, Carson Wentz was having one of the most breakout seasons because, I mean, we saw it last year and then he kind of went to that rookie wall and kind of declined.
Yeah,
and then he had people calling him a bust or. There are people saying maybe he wasn't the right guy, but he came back this year and he was playing out of his mind.
He's a future franchise quarterback.
And how many games? There was a few games he didn't even play in the fourth quarter or something.
Yeah, they had the lead so big. So I feel kind of robbed as a fan, and it's funny because the Vikings are actually 3-point favorites in this game. And if this was and they're the away team, and the Eagles are the number one overall seed, I could tell you this spread.
2 weeks in a row, the Eagles are the underdogs.
Yeah, right. And I could tell you if it was Wentz, this spread would probably be. I would say that they'd be at least a 5-point favorite, if not 6. That'd probably be with Carson Wentz.
I give him a touchdown favorite.
I give him a touchdown.
Yeah, because Wentz has a way of he just connected with the receivers.
Yeah, he did.
He had a rapport with them, so I think Yeah, but I mean, that's football for you.
Okay, so let's get your prediction on this game. What do you got?
All right, so after going through this, I was going to pick the Vikings before. But after sitting back, looking at everything, I think the Eagles are going to take it.
What's the score?
The Eagles will take it. This one is going to be 24-16 Philadelphia.
24-16 Philadelphia. Yeah. I disagree. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think we are going to see a couple turnovers. I think it's going to be Vikings 20, Eagles 14. So
we'll see.
I think the points will be hard to come by. It'll be a tough defensive game. Yeah. Boring for fans who are the casual fan, I think, of football. But for guys like you and I who appreciate defense and all those type things, I think it'll be an entertaining game.
Yeah, but I just think Philly has this home field advantage, which is that's one of my biggest things.
Home field advantage
is key. And Philly, they need to stop losing conference championship games at home. That's. Growing up, they lost. I watched them lose 3 in a row.
They need to win the Super Bowl for Philadelphia. It's always been said that it's the hardest position to play is to be the quarterback in Philadelphia. They always get the worst treatment.
I'd rather see them not win a Super Bowl so their fans could be miserable still. But.
That's true too. I know some people from Philadelphia who actually really don't like.
Yeah.
So
so
that would be kind of cool.
I like to see Philly. I like to see teams whoever won a Super Bowl, their fans suffer even more of not winning Super Bowls because it's hilarious.
Yeah, well, one thing we have to talk about. I know we only have a few minutes left, but if the Vikings win, this would be the first home Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want the Vikings to win.
No, you don't.
Because I mean I know that the way that they do the tickets and stuff, that there has to be a certain amount of fans or whatever. Yeah. And tickets are more expensive, so it's a lot of people who are just rich and who don't root for either team. But still, to play all the time in the field that you play at. Always.
That's an advantage. You don't got to deal with the hotels. You don't. I mean, family-wise, you don't have to. So it'll be a lot easier for them.
Yes.
I think the last closest team to actually play a home game in the Super Bowl was like in the '80s, the 49ers.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it hasn't happened in recent memories. Yeah. All right, so we got one last thing. Let's go through our difference makers or impact players from each team. You can only pick one person. Explain why. Let's start with the impact player from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
For the Jacksonville Jaguars, the impact player, once again, he will be T.J. Yeldon.
T.J. Yeldon?
T.J. Yeldon coming out the backfield. He will be a matchup nightmare for the Patriots linebackers. So that's a guy to key on. Okay.
I think it's going to be Calais Campbell, Defensive Player of the Year, sack monster. And if you can get to Brady without blitzing him, then there could be some problems on New England.
Okay.
Calais Campbell's my guy. Led the league second in sacks. One thing I want to say, first leader in sacks, Chandler Jones. Shouldn't have traded him. I know he was kind of a moron, but hey, he led the league in sacks.
He's been having good.
And we need pass rushers.
He's been having some good sack years
he is.
since he's gone to Arizona.
Bill, that was a mistake. All right, Pats.
The difference makers. Man, I had a couple, but you know what? I'm gonna go with the guy that won the Super Bowl, James White.
James White.
James White. You got these running backs coming out the backfield that are key in these type of games. Jacksonville has linebackers that can run that may keep up with them, but I'll always go with the offensive guy, so James White.
Okay, I'm going similar running back, Dion Lewis. I just think he's taken over as the #1 runner. I think he's the most dangerous. I think that if Patriots jump out to an early lead, we're going to need Dion Lewis to just keep running the ball, take the time off the clock, and just wear the defense down. So Dion Lewis. Okay, let's go to Eagles. Who you got?
The Eagles, the difference maker, that rumbling, bumbling big guy they got in the backfield, LeGarrette Blount.
Oh, okay.
He will be the difference maker.
Okay. I got Zach Ertz on this. He led the team in receptions. He led the team in receiving yards. It's probably going to be him matched up maybe against Barr, which would be very interesting. A linebacker and one of the best, probably the second, third best tight end in the league. So Ertz is going to be the guy that Foles is going to go to. Always love the safety blanket tight end. Okay, and now we got Vikings. We're going to wrap this up, guys, real quick. Who you got?
The Vikings. For the Vikings, you know what? I'm going to go with Thielen.
Thielen? Yeah. Okay, good. And I'm going to go defense, and the Vikings and say Everson Griffin, 4th in sacks. He's going up against the guy, I can't really pronounce his name. He's a backup tackle, Vaitai. And I think Everson Griffin's going to get at least 2 sacks. He's going to force at least one bad throw that's going to turn into an interception, or he's going to force a fumble on himself. Everson Griffin, player to watch in the Vikings game.
All right, I gotta wait for the interview.
Yeah.
All right, so right now we're going to do a little segue. So today we had a special guest with us. We had Lynn English men's basketball coach Antonio Anderson. We talked about their big victory the other day against crosstown rival Lynn Classical. He sat down with me. We talked about their season, the game, the atmosphere, and what they're looking forward to moving forward in season. So enjoy our 10-minute conversation with Lynn English men's head basketball coach Antonio Anderson, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome to the interview part of our program. Here I have with me the head coach of the Lynn English men's basketball team, Antonio Anderson. His team picked up a big win Wednesday against rival Lynn Classical. We're going to talk to him about their season. We're going to talk to him about the game. How you doing today, Antonio?
I'm doing well, man. How's everything going?
Everything is good. Glad you came back here again. You know, we had you in last summer. So a lot has changed for you. The season started. You guys are on a roll right now. So talk about the season quite a bit for you. Your assessment.
Season been a roller coaster, man. You know, anytime coaching high school, you're dealing with kids of all ages, kids with different attitudes, kids with different backgrounds at home, things of that nature, and you know, just trying to teach them to play the game the right way. I got a group of guys who are buying into our system and who come to practice, and they work extremely hard to get better, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, and you have some new faces on the team along with some older players, some experienced players. So how's meshing that in with your rotation?
It's going well. You know, at first, you know, it's tough. You know, guys who were there last year, then there's guys who are there now, and guys who are demanding somewhere else aren't demanding anymore. Guys who got certain shots don't get those shots no more. But with my guys, no one complains about attempts, no one complains about points. They're all just playing together. Our goal is winning. And, you know, I think they're starting to see the bigger picture over individual stats.
All right. And you guys definitely have been playing great basketball. You guys have a 7-1 record right now. So that one loss to St. Mary's, I read in the article that your team learned a lot about themselves from that game.
Oh, definitely. St. Mary's is a really good team. They beat some great teams along the way this year. Their lone loss being to Classical. You know, Dave Brown does a great job getting his guys ready and prepared. He's won several state championships, so his guys will all be ready to play. You know, after that loss, you know, me and Dave Brown spoke, and he gave me pointers on which ways to help my team improve. And I'm still young, so I'm willing to learn from guys, so I have no shame in doing that one bit.
All right. Now, who would be the player that that makes your team go? That one player that this guy is the certified leader of this team, and he can put the team on his back, and everybody can follow his lead.
It's tough, but I think we have two to three guys, but we have Alonzo, Ademide, Javaris, who are all talented and can put the ball in the basket. But I think Javante Edwards makes us go. He's a senior, energy man. He plays, he defends, he rebounds. He's all over the place. We always need him on the floor.
Okay.
When he's on the floor, good things happen for us.
And also Alonzo, he had a big game the other day against Classical. How was that?
He can score. Early in the year, we're struggling finding a shot and getting a rhythm. The last 4 games, he's been getting it going a little bit. Players make plays.
Yeah.
We're on a big stage and at that game, a hostile environment at our place, and he played really well.
Now let's talk about the game the other day against the Lynn Classical High School, crosstown rival. Everybody in the city of Lynn was pretty much there. Big game. Did it kind of remind you of when your brother was playing at English, like how the gym used to be packed?
Oh, definitely. I wasn't around like when I was in college and playing pro ball. To see like the Ryan and Jarrell and Jasper and all those guys play, and like little Freddie Hogan and Keandre and all those guys, I wasn't around for that. So my thoughts would be when my brother played my freshman year in high school. It was a zoo in there, man. The city came out and supported these kids from both schools. Our student body, our faculty, our administration all supported our guys, and it was a blessing to be a part of it.
And to talk about the game, it was a pretty tight game throughout. Went to overtime. Classical made some runs. You guys made some runs. There were times watching that game where Classical just, they hit some threes that could have broke the team's back, but you guys responded in a well manner.
Well, you know what? They're a tough team. They got the bulk of their guys back from last year when they made a huge run in the state tournament. Jasper been on that staff, even though he wasn't the head coach at the time, so they know his system really well. And those guys, you can never count them out of a game. Jalen, Edwin, Eric, Darrell, Malik, all those guys can score. All can make shots, all can make plays, all can defend, and you got to respect all of them. We fought through it. It was a seesaw game. We got a 5-point lead, they get one. And we just kept battling.
Yeah.
Both teams were battling, man. I got to tell my hat off to all those kids at Classical as well. They left it all on the floor. There was no pouting. At the end of the game, I just wish them all well.
Yeah, and speak of your team's ability to just bounce back, because there was a point in the game where they could have just put their heads down, especially after those threes that Classical were hitting, but they found a way to kind of keep chipping away and not let the lead get larger than it was, because Classical had like a cushion of 5 or 6 points, but you guys were able to cut that down and tie the game back up.
Just kept telling the guys keep fighting. As long as there's time on the clock, there's a chance. That's the one thing we kept preaching in the timeouts is, take one possession at a time. We can't get 6 points in one possession. It's impossible. But we can score 2 or score 3 or get in 1 or get offensive rebound, get a steal, and chip away a little bit, like you were saying. And, our guys did that. They collectively came together and figured it out.
And you guys also, now you guys have a game tonight. How can you guys avoid a setback? Just coming off a big emotional game, sometimes teams, they kind of have a setback. They don't focus as well on their opponent. How are you guys going to be able to focus on Peabody tonight?
I think that's where my experience as a player comes in. Being in those situations in college, you gotta come to play. Peabody doesn't care that we just beat Classical. No one should care. We shouldn't care. That game's over. Classical moved on. We're moving on. We gotta come tonight and put our best foot forward. We gotta come out and be electric. We gotta come out, have the energy that we had on Wednesday. Gotta come out and rebound and defend like we did Wednesday.
Definitely.
And I think if we can do those things, we should be okay.
All right. And also, you guys are a few wins away from the state tournament. Last year, they were 1 and done. So this year, as you guys are moving forward and you get those wins to get qualified for the state tournament, what is the big picture for you guys?
Well, right now, our goal is, our first goal as a team we said was just qualify for the state tournament. And we're on task to do that if we keep doing the right things. And, when that time comes, we'll try to get our guys most prepared as possible. For right now, we take it a game at a time, a day at a time. And I think if we do what we're supposed to do, the bid to the state tournament will come itself.
And also, lastly, you guys, last year Classical swept the series, so you guys got the win. Now, how does it feel that you guys know that you guys are able to play with them? You guys are able to beat them because all these kids know each other.
You know what? I think for the kids, I think we knew we can compete with them. We knew they had talent, but we knew we could compete. It was just a matter of going on and proving. Classical, they proved what they can do last year. They put up, they had an awesome year. One game away from the Garden. Get a chunk of their guys back. The state, everyone, recognized that and held them very high in, rankings and things of that nature. But, you can't look at those things. The game still got to be played. I know Jasper, and Jasper doesn't feed off of the rankings and things of that nature. He tries to get his team prepared to win games. And, that's all you can do as a coach.
All right. Man, thank you for coming here and talking to us about the game. Good luck for the rest of the season and good luck tonight. You guys are definitely doing great, and we hope to see you guys. We hope to see you back here with some of your teammates, with some of your players and your coaches. So thank you again for being here. I'm going to toss it back to Brian.
That was a great interview, and I had never met him before, and I found out that he actually played at Memphis with Derrick Rose in the Final Four.
Played in the Final Four,
and he played in the NBA for a little bit and professional basketball overseas.
Yeah, he's actually a great guy for those kids for them to develop their basketball skills. He's been, he's seen it all. He's learned from some of the best. His older brother is considered one of the greatest players in Lynn basketball history. So the guy knows his basketball. He has a lot of knowledge, and that's just a great thing for those kids to have him. And he surrounded the coaching staff with also players who's been in those kids' shoes playing high school basketball. And just, they're doing great things over there at Lynn English High. They're a couple games away from the state tournament.
Let's get him in the Garden. Get him in the Garden.
That's what I'm hoping he does. He's the guy to do it. So that was a great conversation. And he'll be back here. He's always willing to come and help me out with interviews whenever I get need. So he's a good guy to know.
Lots of good stuff going on in Lynn local sports, and we will be trying to cover some more local stuff. Although there's just so much to talk about on the national level.
Also, we're going to give a big shout out to Paris Wilkie for scoring her 1,000 point, and Olivia from St. Mary's for scoring her 1,000 points. Those young ladies are doing great for their collective team. So there's a lot happening in Lynn sports, especially basketball. So this is a great time.
It's very impressive. Yeah. I couldn't even count to 1,000 points. Yeah. That's beyond 500 is too much for me to count. Okay, they're giving us the thing. Mukala, you're doing the outro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm doing the outro. You've been watching the sports show, which will be later named something different later. So just participate in that. We want to get your insight on what we should name the show. Go on our Facebook, Lynn Community Television. Give us some advice. Throw away your suggestions, and you'll win a prize if we pick your name on what you could name this show. So I've been Mukala Kabongo along with Brian Dorrington here at Lynn Community Television. Thanks for watching, people.